Alright, good afternoon, ME Lifestylers. This is Jason, the vegan guy, who had posted earlier on Facebook that I would shoot a short demo video of how I prepare my vegan protein powder and how I use it to make both protein fruit bars and some spiced protein crumble. So the first thing I thought I'd show you is how I do the protein fruit stuff. So here I've just got a freshly washed, what's that, Granny Smith apple here, green apple. I got some water that we're going to use to mix in. I've got a little bit of psyllium husk fiber. Again, this is the whole psyllium husk, but you can use the powdered form. I've also got my supply here of vegan protein powder. Now, when I get this stuff, it actually comes shipped in these big giant Mylar bags. These are 5 pounds each. In this particular one, my favorite mix is a mixture of pea protein powder, hemp protein powder, rice protein powder, potato protein powder, and some strange Japanese root called sasha inchi protein powder. So the nutritional facts on this are pretty straightforward. In one scoop of 30 grams, it's about 120 calories, 1.6 grams of fat, 3.5 grams of carb, of which 2.5 of which is dietary fiber, and 22 grams of protein. So it's pretty close to pure protein, a little bit of fiber and a little bit of fat in it. Of course, it's kind of inconvenient to scoop it out of this big bag, and so when I get a new shipment, I just transfer it into this big jug, which used to be probably a container of some other protein powder that I've been using. So when I prepare, so first I was going to do the fruit bars, and actually, because I'm a little bit lazy, I'm actually just going to do fruit balls, pardon the pun. And to start with, I'm just going to take a nice sort of rounding heap of the psyllium husk fiber, and the reason I add this is because it's a nice binding agent, and it kind of helps absorb some of the water a bit and gives it a nice texture to it. So I'm just going to take kind of one heaping spoon and put that in my bowl there. Now, what makes this work, and one of the kind of unique characteristics of vegetable-based protein powders is that they don't mix well with water. So if you've ever used like whey or casein protein or other animal protein powders, you'll know that as soon as you mix them with water, they get all sticky and gooey. That's not how vegetarian protein powders work. So I do have a scale here just to give you an idea of how much I'm using. So let me just turn this on, wait for it to tare to 0. All right, let me tare it. Boom, hit the button. All right, so now I'm going to add just a couple of spoonfuls of that protein powder. Again, this is pea, rice, hemp, potato, and sasha inchi. So I'm just going to add a couple of big scoops. So that's 32 grams, and we'll go 2 big scoops. So that is 60 grams. All right, so we have 60 grams of protein powder, a little bit of the psyllium husk. I'm going to get the scale out of here for now. And then what I'm going to do is slowly and gently add water. The key is to don't add water quickly. So add some water, mix, add some water, mix, until you get a kind of a thick paste. And then we'll slice up and add the apple. So I'm just going to drizzle some in here, mix, and you'll see as I mix that, it absorbs that water right away, and you see that kind of got that paste crumble sort of texture, and we'll come back to that when we do the non-fruit bar mixture. So I'm going to add a little bit more here, and again the idea is add water slowly because it's hard to unadd water, or if you do accidentally add too much, you can always just toss a little bit more protein powder in there. So again, I'm just going to kind of work it and let it absorb up all that water. All right, there we go. That's looking about good. All right, so as you see there, it doesn't get sort of sticky and gooey like whey protein powder will. It gets kind of crumbly and chunky. And so, there, that actually looks pretty good. So you can see there's probably it's less than a cup of water for that bunch of protein. So now I'm just going to take my apple fruit core slicer thingamajob here. I'm going to stick my apple on there and slice it and core it. And handle. There's our apple, nicely cored and sliced. All right, I'm just going to set this aside for now. So now I'm just going to chop this up a bit into smaller parts. Let me slice. Slice. Okay, do the other half. Slice. Actually, before I throw the pear or the apple in, I almost forgot. So you see here I have an array of spices and stuff. So here is some just organic Ceylon cinnamon powder. So I'm just going to, I like cinnamon in mine. So I'm just going to sprinkle a small amount of cinnamon in there. And then I've also got a little bit of stevia. I like Cal's Pure Stevia. I get it on Amazon. It's good stuff. I'm just going to put a dash of that because it's pretty strong stuff. Just a dash of that in there. And mix that up a little bit. Just make sure it gets all distributed throughout. Okay. Alright. So now I'm going to put the fruit in there. And now it's going to get a little bit messy, so I'm actually going to just start turning it and slicing. Because you want the fruit to be sort of chopped up into really small bits. And this is a good way to just kind of mix the two things together. Right? So I'm just going to kind of rotate, chop here until the fruit is all chopped up. One more time. Get them all nice and finely diced. You see here, it's kind of all mixing together. And a little bit of the fruit juice will get in there and add a little bit more moisture to the protein powder, so it'll get a little bit more wet as you do it. Okay, so I'm just going to toss that a little bit, make sure I get all the stuff off the bottom. Alright, so now here I've also got just a cookie sheet with some parchment paper or wax paper. I think aluminum foil, parchment, wax paper, whatever, all will work suitably well. And now I'm just going to take small little handfuls here, compress a few times, just kind of squeeze it down. That'll help give it some solidity. And you can just kind of ball it up. Squeeze a little more, there we go. Ball it up like that. And plunk it down. And now I'm just going to go ahead and quickly do that with the rest of these. Again, squeeze, ball it up, round it off, plunk it down. And then all I'm going to do is stick these in the fridge, give them a chance to cool down, and they'll kind of thicken up a little bit when they cool. And basically, what you're going to end up with is a almost pure protein, fiber, and fruit snack balls. So you can just kind of reach in the fridge and grab them when you're hungry or when you've got that craving and you're trying not to go for the potato chips or the Cheetos or the Krispy Kremes or something like that. So again, just kind of smush it, ball it up, stick it down there. Probably a little bit too big, but I don't want you to sit there and have to watch me ball up wads of protein powder for too long. Alright, so we're going to do a few more. Get all these done. And again, I've done these with berries, but typically your hands get a lot more colorful when you use blueberries or blackberries or raspberries or strawberries. You just got to mince them up nice and small and it works just fine. Alright, we've got two more here I think out of this. And again, you can do them a lot smaller. You can change the ratio of, use more protein, less fruit, depending on what you're after. If you've got other seasonings that you like with your Granny Smith green apples, you're certainly welcome to use those. And sometimes when you get towards the end, you may have one that's a little bit too much apple and not much protein powder that may not stick together too well, but we'll see if we can get this guy to hold. Alright, that one's kind of crummy, but that's alright. All right, so there you go. All I'm going to do now is stick these in the fridge, and then we'll do the spicy protein for more savory foods. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these in the fridge here. Now, I usually let those sit for about an hour or two, but it really just depends on how solid you want them to get. All right, so again, with the savory stuff, you can really mix it with any spice mixture you want. So one of my favorites is by this company called Benson's Gourmet Seasonings. They make a whole line of salt and sugar-free seasonings. They have one here called Zesty. They have a Table Tasty, which is their salt substitute. So this one happens to be onion, lemon, garlic, parsley, paprika, dill, thyme, fennel, bell pepper, white pepper, tarragon, and blend it all together. You can order it by bulk. They sell it on Amazon, or you can just go to Google Benson's Seasonings and get it online. But again, the basic idea is the same. So I'm going to start off with a spoon of our psyllium husk fiber. Put a spoon of that in there in the bottom of the bowl. And then I'm going to spoon in, again, a couple of spoons of the protein powder. I'm not going to weigh it out this time. But last time when I put these two big heaping spoons in there, it was about 60 grams. Which is quite a bit of protein. I'll throw a little more in. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead, open up my bag here. Oops. And just scoop out a little bit of the seasoning. Alright, so this is kind of a lemon dill seasoning. So I'm going to sprinkle some of that in there. And again, you know, because these are plant-based protein powders, they take to water really nicely and gently, so they don't get all gooey. So again, I'm going to first mix this up, make sure it's all the different flavors, all the different parts are all integrated there. And then again, slowly add water. Now this time I'm not going to do as much water in total because I want the end result to be more like a crumble sort of texture. So again, add that in. You see how it just sops up the water. And I'm just going to mix. Just going to smush it down a little bit there. There we go. And just be patient. Kind of just work it for a little while. Now also, in addition to water, another ingredient that I will often mix in here is mustard. Because of course mustard has, it's basically just vinegar and mustard seed. It's got no calories, no nutritional value, but you can use mustard where I use water, just like you saw before. So now you see where it's getting a little bit sort of crumbly. It's a little bit dry still. That wouldn't be too much fun to eat a spoonful of that. So I'm going to add just a tad more water. And mix that in. Again, be careful when adding the water. You don't want to add too much too quickly. Alright, perfect. Here we go. Okay. Let me just scrape some of this off here. Keep mixing. Just kind of, what I'm doing is really kind of smushing, which really kind of forces the protein powder to absorb up more of that moisture. Alright, here we go. Now we're looking good. Alright, so here. So now what you've got looks, you know, almost a little bit about like really, really finely ground beef, almost. And what I will do is I will take this mixture, right, you can kind of see the texture there. You can sprinkle it over steamed vegetables, you can mix it in with some brown rice, you can, you know, anywhere where you might use a meat in a ground form, you can pretty much just, so you can see the texture there, you can pretty much just pour this stuff or sprinkle it right over or mix it in with your vegetables. And that's it. So hopefully this helps. You know, I know that going the vegan route, let alone vegetarian, can be tough at times, but You know, you can use any kind of spice mixtures you like. I've got minced garlic, minced onions. I've got a Bengali 5-spice mixture if you like Indian. I've got a really nice hot curry, which is quite good. This Indus also makes a nice pizza seasoning, which I'll sprinkle in sometimes. And I've even got a garam masala, if you like, again, more Indian type flavors. But anything you like, any sort of flavors or seasonings you like, and it holds together quite nicely. If you need it to be a little more firm, again, you can just take this, throw it in the fridge, let it sit for an hour or two, and it'll firm up a bit as it cools. And then again, use it, sprinkle it over stuff, throw it on top of a salad, and mix it in with whatever you like. So there you have it. I hope this works for you.